Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I hope you're audible. I am audible.
Oh, you're audible as sexy.
Perfect.
How much are you planning to grow this more?
I don't know now. Everyone has started telling me at home. घर पे चालू है बोलने का काट दो but मन नहीं मानता है.
बिल्कुल नहीं. मैं आपको when I look at you from this lower part, I can see the character from the what's that movie? Dictator. You remember that movie Dictator?
Dictator, okay.
This part down. How are you?
There are so many things. अभी सब वही बोल रहे हैं, सब दाढ़ी के पीछे. But हिम्मत नहीं होता दाढ़ी पे हाथ लगाने का.
खबरदार कोई दाढ़ी को छुआ तो भी ना.
Correct. बाकी कुछ भी ले लो.
But you've got very good growth and it's nice and black.
Yeah. No, what people can see is black.
Yeah, but there's something more inside.
What? Yeah, it is all white. That's the great part.
Oof, कहीं गलत मैसेज ना चला जाए मैं आपकी दाढ़ी की तारीफ कर रहा हूँ. I said कहीं गलत मैसेज ना चला. मैंने कहा कहीं गलत मैसेज ना चला जाए मैं आपकी दाढ़ी की तारीफ कर रहा
हूँ.
जी आप कुछ कह रहे थे.
नहीं, I was saying you take sessions at night also across countries, right?
The time zone ना Russia and Balkan, the time zone के वजह से say by 2 o'clock 2:30 तक Indian time, but my mornings are late. I start my mornings only by 10 o'clock 11 o'clock.
Right. So you'll have to manage a lot of things actually.
Yeah, my mother began to feel now that I'm working in a call center because I'm just taking calls.
Right. That is true for everyone.
Yeah.
My mother says, "अभी मालूम पड़ रहा है तू कितना काम करता है करके घर पे रहता तभी."
Yeah, actually, no, and I think going ahead, it's going to be so easy for us all to do a lot of things from home, and I think that if this is planned well, there's a lot of time also that we have on our side.
Correct.
Yeah.
True. So what do you say, sir? We can go ahead now. You can start.
I'm there at your service. Whatever you dictate, you're the dictator.
No, nothing like that. It's a pleasure actually to have you. Acha, before I start, I would like to introduce Mr. Anil Thomas to all people who are attending this live session.
नाम के पहले आप जितना मिस्टर प्रोफेसर सब डालते हो सब निकाल दो.
Acha, okay. I am used to it, but think I'll try. So Anil is a very dear friend. Actually, we met way back, like in the year 2010, I think, for a corporate session. And that is how I knew him. And then I've been following him on social media. And I have seen a lot of positivity coming out of him only through social media itself. The lot of things that he does for people around and the posts and the talks that he does, it is more of and both of us are professors by background. We started our career as professors, coaching classes, and he has an amazing coaching class, which is like growing very well. And he's he's diversified himself into a different profession now. He is one of the most known NLP practitioners in India, a Gestalt therapist. I'll also ask when I put this. No. Actually, when I put this post, many of them asked me on DM, what is NLP? What is Gestalt therapy? So I could explain them something that I knew, but I said he'll himself tell कि क्या है, कैसा है करके. But he's also taught over 10,000 students, right, across the world.
Yeah, I think I was just lucky to be on different platforms, Mahesh tutorials or different classes across Sinhal's class. Just been lucky to be at the right place at the right time.
And as an NLP practitioner also, you have been touching so many lives across the globe.
I have the fortune of sharing my learnings, which I got from Father Dick, Judy Deloiser. And there's been invitation. Just been lucky, I guess.
And I think you have conducted over 2,500, close to 2,500 therapies till now.
I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of therapies that's been conducted, but yeah.
And Anil is also an author of 8 books. I was just going through the names of the books, and the names of the books themselves show out so much positivity. Wheel of Life, Listen to Me, Stories I Wish
I think
listen
to me is dictatorship. Listen to me.
No, by reading the name of the books, I can feel so much positive. It is all about success. Keep going, heal, cross that bridge. And
Keep Going is not yet published, but it's a book on mental
okay,
health. It's a book which Samindra Sawant, who's a clinical psychologist, and me, we both have written. And it's a book on hardcore clinical cases who lives with us in our day-to-day lives. It could be one of our family members who's going through cases, but somehow, for some reason, we've not diagnosed that they're borderline and they have their own challenges, and how they are the real heroes who are trying to cope up with that and the real world. You know, it
okay,
could be something as small as depression borderline, anxiety borderline, personality disorder borderline.
right, right.
And so the message is how they've kept going. And the message for
Okay,
us is we ought to keep going.
nice, nice. So why the basic intention behind keeping this live session, Anil, is see, I am what do you say? I help people in the physical transformation. Okay. But today, what I realize is after this scenario that is going around, COVID, and a lot of things happening around us, now what I feel is going ahead, mental toughness is something which will play a major role in everyone's life. No matter what you do, which background you belong to, mental toughness is something that you will all have to deal. And there'll be so many people who will be going through challenges in this scenario.
I
So I
think
thought, what? Yeah,
I think dealing with mental agility was never an option all through human history. Just that we had taken that for granted. I feel we live in interesting times. Imagine if we were in 1930s or 1800s. There was more brutality outside. Our world is much better. We have more technology advancement. We have more options. We can reach out to you. Look at this. We are right now talking to probably whatever number of people. So in my opinion, mental agility is never an option, A. B, it's the premise of human growth. The very fact that we as a human being, we work, that's our motivation, we achieve something, that's our goal redemption, and then we would take that and we put it onto our genes and we pass it to the next generation, which is why for the last 6,500 years of recorded history, we as the human species have evolved in our life, in our lifestyle, in our beliefs, etc. And we also know that the mind and the narratives that we have up here are so malleable, and we can twist it, we can turn it, we can edit it, we can choose to see the elephant pink, or we can choose to see it blue. We can choose to look at a past experience and edit it. We can feel good with it, we can feel bad with it, we can go into the future and create something. So mental agility was always there, and it's never an option that we can get out of it. It's just that the world is spinning too fast, which means things that lasted for 20 years before today lasts for 6 months. So the spin is
correct.
faster now. Yeah, we're reaching the supernova faster. Yeah, things are getting outdated faster. The invention. So by the time we get used to a world, it's already changed. So
Right.
it's evident, and it's much faster.
So in this scenario, how to deal with one's emotions? Like there are so many people are bogged down with so many emotions nowadays. So how do you feel that people should overcome these emotions? Mostly
Uh,
these emotions are negative.
um, I would I would say emotions are truth, and not to deal with it, but to accept it. To know that I'm going through something. The step one is to accept it. To accept that I'm going through hurt, or I'm going through an urge to meet someone. It could be a physical urge, it could be a sexual urge, it could be a financial urge, it could be some kind of urge that I'm going through. It's an emotion associated with it. Step one is to know that that's there. And step two is to know what do you want instead of that. If you don't know what you want, you don't have a place to go. So if I know I'm experiencing hurt as an emotion, the question I need to ask myself is, well, instead of that, what do I want? The third step is to know whether I'm worthy of it, whether I deserve it. What's the narrative I tell up myself here? Am I worthy of it? Do I deserve it? And then, so it's acceptance, it's allowance, and it's self-worth.
Okay.
And then we can edit that. We all know your life has been a story of motivation. I see your DP on WhatsApp where I see the before and after. There's something that you accepted, that is who I was. And then you said, this is not what I want any longer. And then you said, I am worth it. And then you worked through it. And that's the transformation. When you go from point A to point B, there's a self-worth component. People don't achieve what they say they want to because they somewhere deep inside believe they don't deserve it. It's a question of
basically what you're
self-worth.
trying to say is first accept what is going on and then try to change it in the right way.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say.
If you don't accept it, you will never change it. अगर आपको पता ही नहीं है कि let's say मुझे पता ही नहीं है कि मेरा zip खुला है, मैं change कैसे करूँगा? Change comes after acceptance. Between acceptance and change, there is a process of allowance. That allowance is a state where I feel, no, I need to change it. Or I deserve something.
Correct.
You know, that's where, if this morning, you and I didn't have this session, probably I wouldn't take bath, I would be still in the bed.
Right.
So there is an
here.
allowance. There's an allowance. That allowance is the event. Now, these events can be external, these events can be internal, these events can be imaginary. And that's the beginning of the change process. And that's the beauty of it. Because as human beings, we can edit anything, which is why it's proof that we've outgrown our old relationships. We've taken time, but we've outgrown the old relationships. True. Yeah, there were times when we felt that how can I live without that person, or I'm down to the dust, and then we had remorse, and then we had hate, then we had hurt, but then one fine day we decided, mark yak. One fine day we would have decided that is it. One fine day we would have decided I deserve more, I'm worthy of more, and that's when I moved from point A to point B. So not to get. I was watching one of my friends' Facebook posts today, and she put up, not to be intimidated by the whole step, but to see one step at a time. Not to be intimidated by the entire stairway, but to look at it one thing at a time. That's what Mother Teresa also says, one at a time.
Perfect. So joining this same discussion, now when we tell people to accept the reality and then try to change it if you feel it is not so good for you. So I have seen people who have accepted the reality, but as soon as something is accepted, there is something more that comes up.
Yeah.
Like life is, as we say, life is full of uncertainties.
Obviously.
So how to deal with uncertainties?
That's the onion, right? जैसे आपको पता चलता है कि अरे ये तो लेयर है, ये निकाल सकता है, उसको आप निकालो तो अंदर एक और लेयर है. अनियन लेयरों के अलावा कुछ नहीं है. ये सब लेयर पीलने के बाद पता चलता है कि कांदा था ही नहीं उधर. We are only our layers. बचपन से लेकर आज तक जो स्कूल्स ने सिखाया, जो यूनिवर्सिटी से सिखाया, जो तजुर्बे ने सिखाया, जो लोगों ने सिखाया, जो प्यार ने सिखाया, जो धोखे ने सिखाया, यही लेयर से बना है हम. And when we are willing to peel the onions, that is when we begin to know who we are. And then what is left is the essence of the onion, not these layers and not the onion. What's left is the essence of the onion. And once we are willing to see that essence, in my job is not to tell anybody what they are going through. When a client comes to me or they say that I think I'm going through depression or anything for that matter, I ask them, so what do you want? It's not my goal that I want them to fulfill. I want to know what is your goal. And if you don't have a goal, maybe you're happy with your current situation. And if you're happy with your current situation, I don't want to be the serpent in your Garden of Eden. Because we all have different levels of awareness. And we all have different levels of understanding. And we'll all have different levels of acceptance. So to each one, it is different. It's not to force a change outside on somebody. It's acceptance on two levels. One, for me to accept what they have accepted. B, for me to be okay with whatever they define is okay for them.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the third level, I want to know from them, are you okay? Are you fine? Because what you are okay and what you're fine with may not be something that I accept in my life. But I want to know two people can exist in the same world with two different realities, because we do not live in an either or world. We live in an all-inclusive world.
Correct.
And that's the acceptance coming from both sides.
So whatever you're comfortable, you're free to live in that way.
That's how
we
it
are
should
no
be.
one to change you.
Yeah, I don't want to change anybody's underwear, beliefs, ideas, ideologies, perceptions, understanding, relations, nothing. I want to find the bridge with which I can walk up to you, and doesn't matter where you are, and have a relation with you. Not by editing you, but by accepting you for who you are and what you are and what you do.
True.
And there's no rule which says that if you change, then no. As long as you're not stepping into my boundaries, as long as my world is intact, I honor and respect your world, because every life matters. I am pro-choice. I'm pro-choice. So whether you're a gay, whatever your sexual orientation, whether you're black, whether you're Muslim, whatever your religion, are you from the Balkan region, are you from Russia? I don't care, because we are children of this planet. And we ought to make this a better place. Like Michael says, for you, for me, and for the entire human race.
Absolutely. The other thing is, Anil, I have clients who come to me for their weight loss, weight gain, for their health, basically.
Yeah.
Now, when I tell them certain things, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, so the answer that they give is, "Arey, ye to humko sab pata hai."
Correct.
But हमसे होता नहीं.
Correct.
So majority of us, in whatever thing in life we want to achieve, we know the recipe, but we are not able to cook that thing. So what has to be done in that case?
There are two things that I would respond to this. My first response would be, knowledge is wasted if it is not in the body. It's not what you know. You may know how to swim, but you cannot swim. I want to know if your knowledge is in the body. It's one thing when you know, and it's another thing when the body knows. When the body knows, it does. Sometimes that's the intuition, that's the larger power, that's the bigger system. When you know that, I think I'm going to fail. It's a voice that comes from within. It's a whole body participation. And sometimes there is this chatterbox, this monkey box, which says, "Mujhe pata hai, ye ho sakta hai, wo ho sakta hai, aisa hai, waisa hai." That's intellectual. Intellectual is a problem. Between intellectualizing and internalizing, internalizing is a gift. And as long as the data is not in the body, there's an old saying in NLP which says, knowledge is a rumor if it is not in the muscle. And once it is in the muscle, it's like learning cycling. Once you know cycling, you will never forget cycling. 50 साल के बाद भी उसको बोलो साइकिल करेगा क्या? करेगा, क्योंकि मसल में मेमोरी है. लेकिन 50 साल के बाद उसको पूछेगा ना, tell me what is the extraction of iron, tell me what is Fe2O3 3H2O. वो बोलेगा what the fuck? उसको पता नहीं है. तभी भी नहीं पता था और आज भी नहीं पता है, because the body doesn't know. The trick is to find that in the body. A. B. When people say ye hota nahi hai, the question is sometimes that's not a goal that they're pursuing. Sometimes it's just a fantasy goal. Sometimes it's just a goal because they're saying everybody is losing weight. So at least they have to tell the world that they're appearing to do the right thing. So they join the gym, they join the dietitian, they do this, but the problem is deeper. The problem is in the essence and not in the layers of the onion. So motivation is very external, which is why it is motivation. Inspiration is in spirit, which is why in the spirit. In spirit is engraved in every cell of your body. It's engraved in every fiber, every muscle. Kan mein basa hai wo. So instead of finding what you want to do, find out what the body wants to do. That is bringing in the congruence, that's bringing in the alignment, that's following the ecology. And now change is easy. Now change is easy. Yeah. Now you cannot go back to who you were before, Sujit, can you? Even if you try, you cannot go back. Even if you want to, you can't go back because your body learned a new behavior. It's in the muscle. It's not here. It's not that you have to try hard not to eat or to do this. Yeah. Now the body will lead you. So to reach to a point where you listen to the body, that's where the spirit is. That's where your God lives. That's your nervous system. That's your immunology. That's the magic. That's the law of
So rather
attraction.
than the mind, change your body system. That's what you say.
Yeah. Listen to the body and get all three together, because that's the alignment, right? You can't say your mind is saying I want to go to Russia, your body is saying I want to live here with my family, and your eyes are looking at Tokyo. You
Right.
know, आप जौनपुर जाके बस जाओगे फिर, क्योंकि आपको पता ही नहीं, और कहीं भी जाओगे खुशी नहीं मिलता है, because a part of you wants to live somewhere else. That is the disparity. That is the dichotomy. एंड अक्सर दिस कंफ्यूजन और दिस, मैं साइंस लूं कि इंजीनियरिंग लूं, मैं इससे शादी करूं कि उससे शादी करूं, मैं आज छोड़ूं कि कल छोड़ूं, मैं यश, दिस डाइकोटमी इज बिकॉज विजन इज नॉट अलाइंड. दिस डाइकोटमी इज बिकॉज इमोशंस आर नॉट कनेक्टेड टू द विजन, एंड दैट इज मेंटल स्ट्रेस. And it's way deeper than what we think it is, because our cognition comprises of hardly 7 to 10% of what our system is, but the biology is way too much, because thoughts creates the feelings, and that decides what sort of healing you're going to embrace. It's the feelings that creates the healings.
Oh, true. And
So my
maybe this is
question
what,
is,
yeah.
so my
Please,
question
please.
normally is, what do you feel about it? And that's what I want to listen, because that's in the body. And I'm interested to know what your somatic intelligence is, and not just what the cognitive mind says.
Correct.
Yeah.
Perfect. And actually, maybe this is the reason now we come across people who, because I don't know, is it normal nowadays, or I come across a lot of people who say that they are undergoing depression when they look very normal.
Yeah.
They're normal, they behave normally. But still, when they go to someone and they say they are detected as depressions. So why is it happening nowadays? Do you feel that it's a very common thing nowadays, people going through depression?
So in my opinion, when somebody comes to me and says that I think I'm going through depression, my question to them is, what would you be going through if you didn't know this word depression?
It's become a common term nowadays.
Yeah. And feeling depressed and going through depression are two different things. You can see a sad movie, come out and say, I'm feeling depressed. That's acceptable. Feeling depressed and having depression are two different things. And because it's a pharmaceutical gain, because there's a medical gain to this, there's also, 30 years ago, there was depression. 30 years ago, the blood pressure parameter was different, but today the same blood pressure, they lower it, because that's the biggest pharmaceutical scam. And they play with our mind, because I was in the States in California, and I'm telling you, we could just go across the counter and pick up a Prozac, because that's economy, that's business, and that's what it is. But if you are willing to make the difference that creates the difference, then you're willing to walk the path that you talk. And then that's the proof, right? Lance Armstrong is proof, Pablo Casals is proof, Narayan Murthy is proof, Bill Gates is proof, Steve Jobs is proof, Michael Jackson is proof, Narendra Modi is proof. These are all proof that you can change your narrative and you can change your reality. Unless there's a clinical condition associated to it. And everything that I'm saying is not a substitute to clinical cases. It's to be worked together, but not by discounting common sense.
Right.
So step one is common sense.
Absolutely. So in case there is actually someone who is going through depression,
my
so
question is, how do you
because,
know? My question is, how do you know that it's depression? What's your parameter
because they
to check
tell us,
depression?
because people whom I have met, couple of people who I have met, they said when we went to the doctor, they said that we are going through depression. There's a depression, something going on.
Excellent.
But they look very normal to us. So
Perfect.
Is that a true case?
It is true. It's absolutely true. They are normal heroes that goes through real life, and their challenges are just about a lot different than what we go through. They have to go through that and this. So they don't need motivation. They need acceptance. You don't need to tell them that, come on, get up, you can talk, you're this. No, fuck you. That's not the motivation they need, and that's not going to help at all. They need acceptance. And they need constant acceptance. Because they can come out. All through human history, it's proof that through acceptance, we can create miracle. So if I have to deal with someone like that, I want to know, what are you going through? B, I want to know, what all are you good at? You may be a depression client, but who's also good in singing. You may be a depression client who may be a good painter or a good reader or a good writer. I want to surface the other skills. I want to know what it is to be depressed and also to be singing. You know, the first time when you go to learn swimming, I'm sure you know swimming, right? So when you stand, the very first time when you wanted to swim, you had the fear. And everybody will have the fear. The very first time you're going to jump, there's a fear component. Your breath is high. You don't wait for the fear to go and then jump. You jump with the fear. You don't start painting after depression goes. You paint with the depression. There's a beauty of fear. It dissolves in water when you jump with it. There's a beauty of depression. When you focus on what you want, when you focus on what's important to you, when you start bringing skills that are important to you, change happens.
Correct.
Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's alternate, and it all depends on what's the narrative you're telling up here. What's your surrounding? What's your energy? What's your field? What's the story? Because people who can tell stories can change the world.
True.
You know.
So how do people? Yeah,
I can
please,
read.
please, please.
Just I can read in the newspaper that 15,000 people affected, 20,000 people dead. This, Italy is suffering. This is suffering. It's one thing to buy that story, and it's other thing to say, well, 15,000 people are affected. Excellent. That's one part of the story. The other part of the story is probably 35,000 crores people are fine. I choose where I want to belong. Like George Carlin says, I stopped believing everything what the media tells me.
Correct.
You know, it's what's the narrative? Today, when you get up, what's the narrative? It can be one narrative that shit, it's a lockdown, or it can be another narrative that it's a staycation, it's a home vacation. ये सब कहानियां हमारा है. शब्द अनुभव को पैदा करता है. अनुभव फिर उस भाष्य को पैदा करता है, और इसी चक्रव्यूह में हम फंसे हुए हैं. क्योंकि ये मनुष्य है, क्योंकि ये हमारे अधिकार में है, क्योंकि ये हमारे कैपेसिटी में है, क्योंकि ये हमारे सोच में है. हम भाषा बदलकर अनुभव को बदल सकता है. We can change our words and we can change our experiences.
Very true. So, Dr. Anil, when I'm talking to you, I'm also
My God, is that Dhanashri online? Hi, Dhanashri. I could just see Dhanashri there. Achha. Hey, Dhanashri. I can see you. Yeah. Tell me. Sorry, Sujit.
No problem. So, also one thing what I want to ask is, when someone is going through these challenges, people around them, the family members, the friend, they are also fighting a different battle.
Correct.
So, and they also unknowingly go into certain situations. So how do these people manage?
So that is where we need combined agility. We need a family that stays together, a family that talks together, a family that expresses their emotions together, a family that expresses their fears together, is a family that grows together. It's very important that the husband talks to the wife and says, these are my fears. And to be able to be that vulnerable person in front of the children and the parent, not to put up a strong front when you're not. If it's not the family where you're going to be vulnerable, then where is that place? If you cannot be who you are there without these layers and masks, where can you be that person?
Correct.
Yeah. So a family that talks together gives strength to other component. The system learns there. There's a systemic learning and there is a systemic growth. Because the cells learn, the field learns. You see, when you keep a magnet, it's not the magnet alone. There's a field around the magnet. That's the magnetic field. When I'm there, it's not just me. There's a field around me. And there's a field around them. And it's what we bring to the field and how the interface is and how the growth, the system learns. And if you're willing to do that, I think there's a lot change. So again, acceptance. For the family to say that, I think I'm going through shit. And to be honest with that. And then somebody says, I'll back it up. I've got your back. And then for somebody else to, and then somebody else and somebody else. That's the system.
Correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct.
Oh, that's a cute one.
So that's one. That's he looks cute.
Get him on the screen. We'll say a hi to him. Hey, what's his name?
नाम क्या? Arush.
Arush. Awesome. The devils in my house are still sleeping.
अच्छा, okay.
I think they follow
So,
Californian time.
अच्छा,
My
is it
children
so?
follow Californian time. Dhanashri is saying that vulnerability is real strength. Indeed,
Correct.
it is the real strength. Jake, my teacher,
Also,
says,
people who are watching this, you can also type in case you have any questions regarding anything about mental strength that you need help from. We have the master with us today. So
oh,
we can
Jesus Christ,
get...
the master, huh?
So, Anil, tell me about this, now the current pandemic that is going around. So what do you think are the do's and the don'ts that people have to resort to maintain their mental stability? Because there are so many nonsense things going around when you watch TV, when you watch newspapers, the social media. There's so much of nonsense going around.
I think there's a
So,
very little thing to do that. Very few things. It's not even a big list. Step one is to see everything, but don't engage with anything. सब देखो ना, सब देखो, यहाँ देखो 50,000 लोग मर गए, excellent. अरे ये हो गया, ठीक है, ये हो गया, ठीक है. Be a part of everything, witness everything, but don't engage. The problem comes in engagement. When you engage, you get in. When you get in, you put your nervous system there, and now the stress happens. So the fear is that, Haila, nearly 1/4 of the world's population is going to die. Nearly 2/3 of the world's economy is going to crash. हो सकता है ये सच भी हो. But when you say 2/3 of the world's economy is going to crash, it also means that 1/3 of the economy is going to survive. But if the locus of your focus was on the 2/3 which is crashing, and the height of imagination is that you are picturizing or visualizing that you are a part of this 2/3. So you've used the language of understanding and knowing that 2/3 jaane wala hai, and your focus was not on the 1/3. And second is when you're visualizing that 2/3 jaane wala hai, to meri to lag gayi, mera kya auqat hai. So you see the visualization is pathetic. So
correct.
It's easy to step into this side and say 1/3 hai, main hu. And if you want to use the right annotation of the word Atmanirbhar, that's the Atmanirbhar. Get into the phase of being Atmanirbhar and walk the talk. Get the shit done, because life is out to get you. Shit is going to fall down. These are mythic times. These are epic times, and new heroes will rise. Old ideas will collapse. It should. Veterans will fail. They should. These are chances and opportunities for the new ones to come. And Dhanashri reminds me that these are things which is under my control. UMC, she says, it's under my control. And there are things that are beyond my control. Sujit, I don't know whether you know this. Babu Pillai, sir?
Yeah.
He was the first one who told me this, that, Anil, sir, it's UMC, he says. It's under my control.
Correct.
I miss him. He was the first one who put me into the reading habit. And the very first book he gave me, I think it was in 2007 or 8. He gave me an alchemist book, and ever since then I've become a fan of that. I called him up two months ago, and I told him that I'm writing a book on the 25 books that changed my life, and the very first book in that is going to be Alchemist, and I'm going to dedicate like a para for you because you gave me that book for the first time.
Perfect. Everyone gets someone like that in some phase of their life.
Yeah. It again depends what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Sometimes I find I have to compromise with some idea, some things, and I end up with sadness. I feel that I wanted to do that, but for some reasons, compromising with it. How to deal in such scenario?
What's the guy's name? I'll address him with his name.
Jagruti.
Okay. So Jagruti, my first question to you is, there are times when we will compromise. There are times when we will go steadfast. But I want to know, what is the reason that you compromise? If the reason you compromise is an external focus, you are going to feel sad. If the reason you compromise is an internal focus, then you are compromising with a goal, with a vision, with a purpose. So the question to ask is, for what reason did I compromise? For what reason did I negotiate? And if it is to make someone happy, if the focus is external, then you're bound to be unhappy, right? Because you didn't do what was important to you. You did what was important to something else, somebody else. There's always a way to honor self and the other person. It's not one without the other. It's both. And to find what is that path to both is the change. Did you get my answer, Jagrati? Do you think I answered you? And if not, you can find your answers. You're competent in your body will let you know. And that's where meditation comes in picture. That's where the active centering comes in picture. When the world is calling potential out of you, when there's a call for compassion, that's when you listen to your body. And that's the hero's journey in the body. Thank you, Jagrati. I read you.
So, by understanding what you are saying, Dr. Anil, is
Anil,
that do
आप
not
बहुत डॉक्टर लोग के
consider.
साथ मिलते लगता है. आप बहुत डॉक्टर लोग के साथ मिलते लगता है.
What I try to understand is, one, you have to look for yourself, what happiness you get from things.
You don't have to. You have a choice. And then to execute that choice. Have is compulsion. You have to wear uniform. Yeah, teacher बोलते हैं, shut up, sit down. You have to do the homework. Why? Simultaneous equation. साला आज तक काम नहीं आया मेरे को. Pandemic में मैंने मेरे algebra teacher को पूछा, सर आज तो बताओ काम आएगा कि नहीं आएगा. शायद दुनिया खत्म होने वाला है. सब फालतू सिलेबस भर के रखा है टेक्स्ट बुक में.
तो वो तो अलग टॉपिक होगा सर, उस पे एक अलग लाइव होगा पूरा.
करेंगे. अलग बात है. 20 साल मैंने घर बनाया मेरा वो सिखा के केमिस्ट्री.
सब लोग ने सर, सब लोग ने. But that's a truth actually. Sad truth in fact.
Yeah.
Avishkar has written, boundaries the wall. You can choose to stand down facing the wall or stand up on the wall. Wear your cap and move forward. I think it's by you.
Hi Avishkar, how are you? I know Avishkar. He's from Pune.
Okay.
Yeah,
great,
that is true, Avishkar. Or stand on the wall. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that sentence also. Where Superman is not coming. Stand up, wear your cape, and fuck the shit. अपनी उड़ान खुद भरो. वो उड़ान भी मेरा, वो वाहन भी मेरा, वो फ्यूल भी मेरा, वो सोच भी मेरा, वो दिशा भी मेरा, वो गति भी मेरा, वो जगह भी मेरा, वो वक्त भी मेरा. मैं ही वो सौदागर मेरे सपनों का. Because I will decide the fate of my destiny by creating it, by becoming the God, and also by becoming human who will walk the path. Because aham brahmasmi, I am that I am. And if not me, then who? That's my mental agility. Thank you, Avishkar.
Also, Anil, what I want to ask is, how do
मैं
you
पढ़ाई
get
करके
that
5 साल के बाद आपको मिलता डॉक्टर बन के.
आप पता नहीं actually क्यों डॉक्टर वापस आ रहा है. What I want to ask is how to get that inner motivation. लोगों को inner motivation नहीं आता है, काफी लोगों को, और वो बहुत challenge आता है लोगों को.
Yeah, inner motivation is a lie. Inspiration is the truth. Motivation हमेशा बाहर का ही होता है. Motivation is like taking bath, putting soap, applying perfume. ये तो जाना ही है. लेकिन inspiration is inside. It's inner beauty. It's in spirit. To find out what lies within. To probably close your eyes and to sit and say, what is that I want to do with my relations? And to shut every cognition, to shut every intelligence, to shut every knowledge. And then to know what the body knows. And you already have the answer. अब सवाल inspiration का नहीं है. सवाल है कि do you have the balls to follow that message? क्योंकि पता तो है करना क्या है. Now we are talking of the nature of the ball now. Is it metallic or is it fusky? Now it all depends on what is the zinc you have, what is the metal you have. And then to also go inside and find out that what does it take for me to do? Because the answers lie inside. My teacher told me that, Anil, we may not have the answers, but we have the resources that knows the answer. And that's inside us.
Very true.
Yeah.
Also, ये NLP, Gestalt therapy जो आप करते हैं, what is it exactly? Can you just throw a brief idea about what it is exactly?
So NLP is a set of skills with which we can work with the world. with which we
Okay.
see our world, with which we know what our definitions are, with which we know what our beliefs are. It's a set of presuppositions which allows us to understand what's the pattern that we followed, or what's the unconscious patterns that we are willing to take all the time. And then to know that we have the choice at all time in our life to bring the change, to edit it, and not to live the abuse if it is, and not to compromise the non-negotiables, and then to walk. These are basic understandings, to know what is fear for me, and how did I install this fear? What is abuse? What's abuse for me? How am I treating the other person? Am I honoring the other person? What are my stories? Am I saying that if they win, I lose? Or am I saying that if I lose, then only they will learn a lesson? Am I, the boundaries that we keep in our life? कि ये मैं कर सकता हूँ, ये मैं कैसे कर सकता हूँ, मैं सिर्फ 10,000 कमा सकता हूँ, 50 लाख थोड़ी कमा सकता हूँ, ये कहानियां. NLP is an understanding of your own world. It's neuro-linguistic programming. Programming is the program that you run. It's the program that you do. It's not right or wrong, but it's your program. There is somebody who runs an exact opposite program what you are doing and may fail. There is somebody who runs an exact opposite program what you are doing and succeeds. They are all different programs. NLP is to understand what are successful programs that people run, and then to see how can I take those programs and put it in me. The language we use is the language we use. It's linguistic approach. Success can be modeled. Failures can also be modeled. If you're failing, it means you're running the program for failure. If you succeed, it means, so success can be picked up from the world, and it can be modeled, and it can be installed in your system. The rule of life is if one can do, anybody can do, because between me and them, our hardware is same. The nervous system is same. If one can do, we can model that. अगर उसके कंप्यूटर में ये प्रोग्राम है, मुझे सिर्फ ऐप स्टोर जाके और डाउनलोड करना है, क्योंकि हम दोनों का ऐप स्टोर सेम है. We follow the same hardware.
Right.
Yeah. NLP is inspired by Gestalt therapy, Gestalt, hypnosis, systemic constellation, learning patterns. There are certain key elements. Gestalt is wisdom of the body. It's how emotions are stored in the body. It's how the body speaks. It's the communication from the source of the resource.
So can I put it like discovering yourselves?
Anything is okay. You can say anything. It's whatever
No,
I
is
say
some
is
kind
not.
of
Yeah, whatever I say is not NLP. It's my interpretation of NLP. Yeah, and
Okay.
whatever you say is your interpretation of NLP. And that is true, and this is true.
Right.
See, the concept of the first 20 years of our education system is the teacher has always told us, Mera answer, tere answer se behtareen hai. So we have learned this under 20 years of paradigm conditioning that there is a right answer. Then 20 साल के बाद ये अलग अलग कागज का टुकड़ा लेकर, जिसको हम ग्रेजुएशन सर्टिफिकेट कहते हैं, अंत में वो टोपी फेंककर हमने उस अधिकार को फेंक दिया. और आज भी हम उस कंडीशनिंग के द्वारा चलते हैं कि देयर इज अ राइट आंसर. साला राइट आंसर है ही नहीं. There is no right way that the wave can rise. There is no right way a tree can grow. They are all right. And to understand that they're all right is the key. And you can be right, you can be right, and you can be right. They all can be right.
और हम लोग वही राइट आंसर ढूंढते ढूंढते पूरा लाइफ गुजार देते हैं, and then we
Yeah.
feel that we are unhappy.
Yeah, that's a sad truth. It's very sad truth.
I think we need more people like you who always show the because everything that I spoke, I was just observing that whatever discussion I did, there was not a single moment where you gave a negative comment to anything. You always said this is right, this is right, this is right. And this is actually what mental strength is all about, I feel.
In my opinion, the word positive and negative are both imaginary. सच ये है कि ये है, इसका परिभाषा किसी के लिए पॉजिटिव है और इसका परिभाषा किसी के लिए नेगेटिव है. अगर मैं कहूं कि वो दीवार है, तो वो दीवार है. किसी को लगता है कि ये अच्छा दीवार है, बुरा दीवार है, ऐसा दीवार है, वैसा दीवार है. ये मेरा परिभाषा है. And I would like to leave people with their interpretation. And that's creating a safe space. Because that's what the world needs today. A safe space which allows people to express, knowing that they're not going to be judged, They're not going to be evaluated. They're not going to be tested. They're not going to be condemned. They're not going to be checked on, looked up or looked down or compared. And then there's a lot of pressure on the other person that I have to meet this expectation. I have to match this expectation. And then we succumb down. Then we do something which somebody else wants. And then the pressure. Oh, the pressure.
And I think it is okay to fail in life because we have to fail. Then only we can
There is
learn.
no failure. There's no failure. It's only feedback. सिंपल है ना सर. देखो सोच के देखो, कॉलेज में जाके हम लोग ने एक लड़की को पूछा चलती है क्या 9 से 12. सुजीत, वो लड़की ने हम लोग को या तो हाँ बोला रहेगा या तो ना बोला रहेगा. अगर फर्स्ट टाइम हाँ बोला तो हमारे दिमाग में फॉर्मूला बैठ गया कि ऐसा पूछने से लड़की 9 से 12 आती है. ये ब्रेकअप के बाद दूसरे के पास जब भी जाता है तो हम लोग वही फॉर्मूला सबसे पहले अप्लाई करता है, क्योंकि हम लोग को मालूम है कि ये फॉर्मूला चला. सो देयर इज नो फेलियर, देयर इज ओनली फीडबैक. तो अगर एक फॉर्मूला यूज करके लड़की को पूछता है कि चलती है क्या 9 से 12 एंड शी सेज नो, मैं वही फॉर्मूला यूज करके दूसरे को पूछेगा तो शायद आंसर नो ही आएगा, बिकॉज पहला फीडबैक मिला ना. एंड देयरफॉर वी नीड टू एडिट. We need to edit our behaviors if we want to change our results. If you do the same thing, you'll get the same thing. And the ability to change is the flexibility we have, is the agility we have, is the strength we have, is the competence we have, is the existence we have. And that's the change.
See, before keeping this session, what I felt was that I'll have certain questions and you will answer me those questions. But after,
Did I not
when
answer
we are coming
you?
to the No. You'll give me certain answers. But now when we are coming to the end of the session, what I understand is, as you said rightly, the answers are within us. It is upon us to find it.
Yeah.
So यही एक जिस्ट होगा पूरे आज का जो हमारा चैट हुआ है, पूरा इसका आंसर हमारे पास ही है. आपको पूछा है चलते हो क्या 9 से 12. धनश्री is asking you something.
Dhanashri. I can't wait. Loving the entire conversation. Yeah, na, right? That's what happens when friends meet.
Correct. So great. So this is what we have to do. The gist of the entire discussion is answer lies within us. And it is only the words that has to be changed to change the mind.
Yeah.
When you change failure to feedback,
anubhav badlo. Change your words, change your world. That's the crux of NLP.
Correct. Anything that you want to tell last to the entire audience before we close this session? Anything? And anyone wants to ask, please go ahead. Yeah.
To the audience, I would say thank you. Thank you for letting me speak on a Sunday morning. Thank you, Sujit, for giving me this opportunity. It's always nice to speak. If I have to leave you with something, I would say believe in yourself. And to let go of all the understanding that you have about yourself, which you've borrowed from your childhood, which is not empowering. If somebody said you're not enough, leave that. If somebody says you can't do it, fuck that shit. You know, it's not about what people have told you who you are. It's for you to discover who you are today in the moment. And when you discover yourself, who you are in the moment, know that you are an evolving human being. And after 2 days, you've become somebody new. So not to live by these definitions, because the moment you define, you also have the pressure to defend that definition. So not to know who you are and to say, I'm evolving, I'm changing. And together we'll find out who I am with you in this relation. And the I am in this relationship is not equal to the I am in that relationship. It depends what's the space that we're creating, because I am not definable, because I am changing, because I give myself that permission to evolve and change. I have no obligation to you to be that somewhere else also. And that's a promise to self, because I am not negotiable. In no fucking universe am I negotiable.
Thank you. Amazing.
Thank you.
It's great to hear you, as always. I have been hearing you on social media a lot, but this was actually a true sense hearing, and it was like amazing to listen each word of yours. Everything had a meaning. So thank you very much for the time that you gave us. I know you are very busy. You are very busy.
No, I'm free today. Sunday, I'm free. This Sunday, I am free. In the right terms, I'll say I'm Lukha today.
Good. So I think you can spend time with family today. Aram se ekdam. Pura unke liye.
Yeah. So
So
thank you,
Anil, thank you very
Dhanashri.
much once again. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dhanashri. And uh, yeah, I think Dhanashri was there, right? Somebody else, I forgot who it was.
Avishkar.
Avishkar. Oh, damn, I forgot Avishkar. Thank you, Dhanashri, Avishkar, and everybody else, Jagruti. I hope we both did entertain you all and you had a good Sunday. Come back. Sujit keeps a series of sessions, and I think everything is ek se badkar ek. You should not miss conversations with Sujit. He is inspiring. His life is inspiring because if you see that DP, that's very, very inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Love you all.
Thank you. See you soon. Have a nice time. Thank you for joining, Anil.